You set your alarm for 6 a.m. You'll hit snooze twice. You'll drag yourself out of bed, shower, get dressed in clothes you don't care about, and drive to a place you don't want to be. You'll spend the next 8 hours making someone else rich, then you'll drive home in traffic, exhausted, with just enough energy to eat, watch TV, and scroll your phone before you do it all over again tomorrow, and the day after that. For the next 40 years, this is the script 90% of people are running. And here's what terrifies me, most of them know they hate it. They complain about it every Sunday night. They fantasize about quitting. They scroll through entrepreneur content and dream about freedom, but they never escape, and it's not because they can't. It's because of 10 specific traps that keep them locked in the system. Traps so subtle, so normalized, that most people don't even realize they're caught. I'm about to expose every single one. And if you recognize yourself in more than 3 of these, that's exactly why you're still trading your life for a paycheck. Trap number 1, the golden handcuffs. You're making decent money. Not rich, but comfortable. You've got the car payment, the mortgage, the subscriptions, the lifestyle. And every time you think about leaving, you look at that direct deposit and think, I can't afford to start over. This is the trap. They've got you, because here's what happened, you didn't build a life you can afford. You built a life that requires your job to maintain. That $800 car payment? Handcuff. That $2,500 mortgage in the neighborhood you had to impress people? Handcuff. That lifestyle you financed to keep up with your co-workers? Handcuff. You're not staying because the job is good. You're staying because you built a prison of expenses that requires a steady paycheck to maintain, and companies know this. They know that once you hit a certain salary and lifestyle, you become trapped. You become predictable. You become controllable, because the person making $120,000 a year with $10,000 in monthly expenses is far more trapped than the person making $50,000 with $2,000 in expenses. The second person can take risks, can walk away, can bet on themselves. The first person, they're stuck. Not because they don't have money, but because they committed all their future money to obligations before they even earned it. Here's the brutal truth, financial freedom isn't about making more money. It's about needing less. And until you break these handcuffs, you'll never be free to leave, no matter how much you make. Trap number 2. You're addicted to comfort, and comfort is a silent killer of dreams. Your job is predictable. You know what Monday looks like. You know when you'll get paid. You know what's expected. There's a routine, a structure, a safety net, and your brain loves that, because entrepreneurship? That's chaos. That's uncertainty. That's waking up not knowing if you'll make money today. That's risk. That's discomfort. So even though you hate your job, even though it's draining your soul, even though you fantasize about quitting every single day, you don't, because the known hell is more comfortable than the unknown heaven. Let me tell you what comfort really costs you, everything you could have become. Every year you stay comfortable is a year someone else is building what you're dreaming about. While you're choosing the predictable paycheck, someone with less talent but more courage is launching the business you thought about. While you're hitting snooze on your potential, someone else is waking up early to build theirs. Comfort is expensive. It costs you time you can't get back. Opportunities you'll never see again. The person you could have been, and the worst part? You know this. Deep down, you know that staying comfortable is slowly killing your potential. But knowing isn't enough. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because here's the reality. Everyone who's escaped the 9-5 was uncomfortable for years before they succeeded. They were broke, uncertain, scared, and grinding while everyone told them to get a real job, but they chose temporary discomfort over permanent regret. What are you choosing? Trap number 3, you've become really good at being an employee, and that's the only skill you have. You can show up on time. Follow instructions. Complete assigned tasks. Attend meetings. Send professional emails. Work within a system someone else created. These are valuable employee skills. But they're worthless for entrepreneurship. You know what you can't do. Sell. Generate your own leads. Create something from nothing. Handle rejection. Market yourself. Close deals. Manage cash flow. Build systems. The skills that make you a great employee are completely different from the skills that make you a successful entrepreneur. And nobody taught you the second set. School prepared you to be an employee. Your job trains you to be a better employee. Your entire life has been optimized for working within someone else's system. So when you think about leaving, you panic. Because you realize you don't know how to generate income outside of trading time for money. You don't know how to sell. You don't know how to build. This is intentional. The system needs employees. It needs people who are really good at executing someone else's vision but terrible at executing their own. Here's what you need to understand. You're not stuck because you lack potential. You're stuck because you've only developed half your potential, the half that keeps you employable. The other half? The entrepreneurial half. That's been sitting dormant your entire life, and until you start developing those skills, selling, marketing, creating, building, you'll always need a job. Because a job is the only environment where your current skill set has value. Trap number 4, you're waiting to start until everything is perfect, and perfect never comes. I'll start my business when I have more savings. I'll launch when I've taken this course. I'll quit when I have everything figured out. I'll begin when the timing is right. You've been saying this for how long? 2 years? 5 years? 10 years? And you're still saying it. Because here's what's really happening. You're not waiting for the right time. You're waiting for guaranteed success. And that doesn't exist. Every successful entrepreneur started before they were ready. They launched imperfect products. They made mistakes. They failed forward, but they started. You're still in the planning phase. Still researching. Still taking courses. Still consuming content about entrepreneurship instead of actually doing it. This is preparation as procrastination. It feels productive. It feels like you're making progress. But you're not. You know what separates the 10% who escape from the 90% who don't? The 10% started before they felt ready. They took messy action. They figured it out along the way. The 90% are still waiting for certainty in a game that only rewards risk. Look, I get it. Starting is scary. Launching before you're ready feels reckless. But you know what's scarier? Looking back in 10 years and realizing you wasted a decade waiting for a perfect moment that never came. Stop waiting. Stop planning. Stop preparing. Start. Messy, imperfect, scared. Just start. Trap number 5. Your identity is tied to your job title, and you don't know who you are without it. Think about it. When someone asks what do, you say your job title. I'm an accountant. I'm a project manager. I'm a nurse. Your job isn't just what you do. It's who you are, and that's the trap, because leaving your job means losing your identity. It means losing the thing you introduce yourself as. The thing that gives you status, structure, and a sense of purpose. Who are you without it? That question terrifies people. So they stay. Not because they love the job, but because they don't know who they'd be without it. Your coworkers know you as Sarah from marketing. Your family knows you as the engineer. Your friends know you as the teacher. What happens when you're none of those things? This is why people say I can't just quit when they absolutely could. It's not about money. It's about identity. But here's what you need to understand. Your job title is not your identity. It's a role you're playing. A character you're performing. The real you? The one with dreams, potential, and ambitions? That person is buried underneath the job title, and until you're willing to let go of the safety of a defined identity, you'll never discover who you actually are and what you're truly capable of becoming. Trap number 6. You've convinced yourself you can't take risks because you have responsibilities. I have a mortgage. I have kids. I have bills. People depend on me. These are real. I'm not dismissing them, but they're also the excuse you hide behind to avoid taking action. Because here's the reality. People with kids have built businesses. People with mortgages have escaped the 9-5. People with massive responsibilities have taken the leap. The difference? They didn't use their responsibilities as an excuse. They used them as motivation. I have kids can mean I can't take risks, or it can mean I need to build something so my kids see what's possible. I have a mortgage can mean I'm stuck, or it can mean I need to build additional income streams so I'm never one layoff away from losing everything. Same responsibilities. Completely different mindset. And let me challenge you on something. Is staying in a job you hate, being stressed and unfulfilled, coming home exhausted with nothing left for your family, is that really being responsible, or is it actually irresponsible to model a life of quiet desperation to the people who look up to you? The most responsible thing you can do is build something sustainable. Create options. Develop skills that make you resilient, because your job isn't guaranteed. Your company could lay you off tomorrow. The economy could shift. Your industry could change. The real risk isn't leaving. The real risk is putting all your trust in a system that could discard you the moment you're no longer profitable. Trap number 7. You operate from scarcity instead of abundance, and that keeps you small. You believe there's not enough opportunity to go around. Not enough money. Not enough success, so you hold on to your job with white knuckles because what if I can't find something better? This is poverty thinking. And it keeps you trapped. Abundant thinkers know something you don't. There's more opportunity now than at any point in human history. More ways to make money. More tools. More access. More possibilities, but scarcity-minded people can't see it. They're so focused on protecting what little they have that they miss the ocean of opportunity around them. You see one path, go to work, collect a paycheck, repeat. Abundant thinkers see 1,000 paths, freelancing, consulting, building digital products, creating content, starting services, investing, building businesses. Same world. Different perspective. And your scarcity mindset manifests in tiny ways every day. You don't negotiate your salary because they might say no. You don't start a side business because someone's probably already doing it. You don't invest in yourself because what if it doesn't work? Every decision is rooted in fear of loss instead of possibility of gain. Until you shift from what if I lose? To what if I win? You'll stay exactly where you are. Trap number 8. You're comparing your beginning to everyone else's middle, and it's destroying your motivation before you even start. You scroll Instagram and see the entrepreneur with the lifestyle, the freedom, the income. What you don't see. The 5 years they spent broke, grinding, failing, and doubting themselves. You see the highlight reel, the finish line, the success, and you think, I could never do that, so you don't even try. This is the comparison trap. And it's killing your potential, because here's the truth, every single person you admire started exactly where you are. Uncertain. Broke. Scared. Working a job they hated while building something on the side. The difference? They didn't compare their day 1 to someone else's day 1000, they started anyway. They failed anyway. They kept going anyway. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not less capable. You're just not willing to start ugly, fail publicly, and grind through the years nobody sees. Stop comparing. Start building. Trap number 9. Your job drains 100% of your energy, and you have nothing left to build your escape plan. You work 8 hours. Commute 2 hours. Come home exhausted. By the time you've eaten dinner and decompressed, you've got maybe 2 hours before bed. And you're supposed to use that time to build a business? This is the trap. They've structured the system so you have just enough energy to survive, but never enough to escape. You're too tired to start. Too drained to build. Too exhausted to learn new skills, so you scroll. You watch TV. You zone out, and another day passes where you did nothing to change your situation. Here's the brutal reality. If you want to escape, you have to find energy you don't think you have. You have to wake up earlier. Stay up later. Use lunch breaks. Sacrifice weekends. Is it fair? No. Is it necessary? Absolutely, because the 10% who escaped didn't have more time than you. They just used their time differently. They were building while you were scrolling. Working while you were watching. Grinding while you were sleeping, not forever. Just long enough to create options. And finally, trap number 10, you're hoping things will change without changing anything yourself. You hope your company will appreciate you. You hope you'll get promoted. You hope the situation will improve. Hope is not a strategy. You can hope all you want, but if you're not taking action, nothing changes. The alarm still goes off at 6 a.m. You're still driving to the same building. Still answering to the same boss. Hoping without action is just wishing. And wishes don't pay bills. The 10% who escaped didn't hope for change. They created it. They took the course. They started the side hustle. They built the skills. They took the risk. While everyone else was hoping, they were doing. So there you have it. 10 traps that keep 90% of people locked in the 9-5 forever. The golden handcuffs. The comfort addiction. The skill set trap. The starting line paralysis. The identity crisis. The responsibility excuse. The scarcity mindset. The comparison trap. The energy drain. And hope without action. How many of these are you caught in? If it's more than 3, that's your answer. That's exactly why you're still showing up to a job you hate. But here's the good news, now you know. And knowing is the first step to breaking free. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Drop a comment with the trap that hit you hardest. Subscribe for more truth about escaping the system. And if you're ready to actually do something about your situation, start today. Not Monday. Today, because the 9-5 isn't going to release you. You have to release yourself. Your move.